creative crowd work is it's hard, you know, like it's really hard to like think about what's next with that type of material. Because 90% of crowd work clips or 90% of crowd work in general is like, where are you guys from? How'd you guys meet? What's the deal with you guys?
Yeah.
Is that your mom? It's like, it's pretty much the same things over and over again. But I do think there's comics out there who are starting to branch out and like look at what crowd work is and how to do it differently. Like there's some like musical crowd work guys who are doing things like going to the crowd. Yeah, like really funny. I forgot the guy's name. God.
Musical crowd work.
There's a great comic he goes out, he does like auto-tune with the audience. And he has an auto-tune on the mic and does like these sing-song things and goes out into the crowd and has the crowd sing with him on auto-tune, and it's hysterical. It's really funny. And it's just an interesting way of using that format.
Sure. Yeah, you could find your little shtick that differentiates you a little bit.
And it's like, isn't it funny how stand-up is like the only art form where it's like, it's funny or it's better when you're like, let's get the crowd involved with this. Like you never go to a baseball game and be like, you know, it'd be great. Let's see what Mark has to do. Like, let's put Mark at second base. Yeah. But you know, that would be entertaining.
It certainly would.
Like if Major League Baseball did that, the ratings would go through the roof. If like every inning you had to take someone from the stands and putting them in a position.
Put them out there. Yeah.
That would be so funny.
I guess, you know, they do catch the balls that get hit into the stands.
They would, but it changes it totally completely if you go into like the bleachers and this guy has to hit.
Yeah.
Imagine how much fun a baseball game would be to watch. If every inning
team had to bring in like a fan or something.
A fan, you had one fan in the game.
Yeah.
Per inning, dude, that would be out of control.
That would change the game a little bit. Yeah.
But that's essentially what crowd work is. It's like, yeah, we're professional comedians who write and probably overthink this and like flew here to do this show often or whatever, and then you get there and you're like, where are you guys from? It's like,
let's see what you have to say.
Yeah. Right. You pass the torch into the audience, but that's why it's also hard. You don't want to give the audience more control than they're able to handle.
Right. You still got to be like, I'm running this shit.
Yeah. That was best piece of feedback I ever got from a comic regarding crowd work, and I don't do a lot, but never ask the audience a question that you're not prepared for the answer for.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's good feedback to think about. Because you really do want to, own and control the room. And sometimes I see comics go out and like they'll ask questions and open up these threads that they're not ready for, and like you can tell, and that's where like the gateways start to close.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and you can't get them talking too much.
No.
Mistake. They start like a discussion.
Oh god.
Like, wait, I'm still the one here with the mic.
Yeah, you don't want that. I've seen that too many times too. That's why yes or no questions are usually a good place to start, unless you're like world class at it.
Yeah, short and simple.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm learning, and then you do notice, is that it's like, all right, you talk to these people for a little bit, and then them for a little, and then these other people, and then you kind of tie in their answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just find ways to weave that. So I'm like, all right.
I saw there's a comic. He's a Canadian comic, but I worked with him for a weekend, and we did. It was like 6 or 7 shows, and he did almost exclusively crowd work for the entire week. This is going back almost 10 years, or longer. But he was a master of just weaving the audience in with his stories, and I just couldn't believe it. Every night I'd watch this guy just like weave the first. No, God, his tagline is he's the miserable comic. I'll have to look it up.
So basically every comic.
Yeah, but he's so fucking funny, man, But he would weave all these shows, man. He would do an hour, and like the first 3 rows, by the end of it, it was just like everything came together, and it was like a magic trick. I never saw anything like it. And ironically, he doesn't do any crowd work clips. Like he's not famous for that.
Really?
Like he's not famous because of that. Like I think he did TV shows in Canada or something. But it's amazing when you see someone who's like a master at it. Yeah. Like David Tell's a master at it. Big J. Okerson's unbelievable at it. Aaron Berg is amazing at it. Like there's some unbelievable comics who just know how to work the crowd. Yeah. Jeff R. Curry, who work those city crowds, and I think the New York City leads it to good crowd work because a lot of people are just on stage more, so they don't feel like if they lose a set or a time, it's not a big deal. Like there's some other sets they'll do that night, so they'll throw one set just to be like, fuck it, I'll just go talk to the crowd. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes you better at it, you know?
Sure. Yeah, you have to make it basically a priority. Man, it's like anything else.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to be a crowd work guy, but when you see it done well, it's pretty amazing, you know, how people can... It's more improv, honestly, than anything else.
Sure.
It's closer to improv than it is to stand-up.
A little bit, yeah. How much improv have you done?
Improv?
Have you done any improv?
No, not really. My first time I was ever on stage was doing improv in high school, and I liked it. But when you see how people do it in, you know, other than that, like school setting, like we had it as a class.
Yeah.
When I see people doing improv in like New York City, and I go to those shows, I'm just like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
You know, there's people who you can tell who are like really good at that world. Yeah. There's different audiences that go to it.
P Boiz, #1.
The beats of the show are completely different.
#1 Metro Comedy Podcast. No big deal.